The Big H Podcast, tune in now. Conversations that'll wow. Laugh and learn, stay a while. Let's explore that Hilton style. From the highs to the lows, every story just explodes. Mike's got questions on the go, diving deep from head to toe. Every week the guests align, sharing moments so divine. Stay with us, the pace is fine. Every episode you'll find. The Big H Podcast, tune in now. Conversations that'll wow. Laugh and learn, stay a while. Let's explore that Hilton style.
Hello and welcome to the Big H Podcast. My name is Mike Heise, and today my guest is, I'm going to say it in the beginning, my favorite, my daughter Mallory Heise. And she has had quite the junior season, both individually and team-wise. And I look forward to speaking with you on our podcast. Thanks for being with us.
Thank you for having me.
Well, you're coming to the end of your junior year. Well, what's life been like in school, and what do you have on plans for the summer?
In school, I just been studying for exams. You know, I got 2 more coming up with history and chemistry, but once that's over, I'm just going to hang out with my friends every now and then and keep training for basketball. So,
What do you and your friends do when they hang out? What are places you hang out with?
we'll go to one of their houses, or we'll maybe go on the jet ski, hang out in the pool, just hang out, play a card game or something. So,
What's the card game of choice?
personally, Uno.
Well, everyone can learn how to play Uno. No euchre?
Not enough people know how to play.
Not a few of them. Well, you also, you're busy, you said training, and tell us a little bit about the farm that you...
Oh yeah, so I've been working at the farm for, I think this is my 2nd year working there, and it's called Blodgett Family Farm. $5 pumpkins. You can they'll start selling pumpkins, mums, baked goods around like the end of August and until about Halloween time, and it's just a great place to work because they're just great people, and you learn not only how to work hard, and it's very humbling work, but how to talk to people and how to have relationships and all that stuff. So,
Name some of the people you work with there.
obviously, I work with Ruthie Blodgett, her husband Dave Blodgett, Beth Jameson, her daughter, John Jameson, Mandy. Just there's so many people that come by that they're so much fun to be around.
It's truly a family-run farm.
Oh yeah.
Now, you said you're going to do some training, and you have some upcoming basketball tournaments. Explain to our viewers a little bit about what training you'll be doing this summer.
Yeah, so I go to Hoop Strength a lot. There I usually work with one of my trainers, Rachel Leonard, and we'll lift, we'll get some shots up, we'll work on new moves that I want for the next season, and then usually on the weekends I'll practice for my travel team, and it just ongoing cycle.
Do you ever get tired?
Every now and then, yeah.
What about when you come home? Do you do any working out at home or in the driveway or in the basement?
Yeah, sometimes I'll come downstairs and I'll just dribble the basketball. Just like when it's raining outside or it's really hot or cold or something. And then I'll go outside too and get some shots up, do form shooting. The ball always bounces everywhere, so Mom doesn't like it in her gardens, but
Do you ever bring anybody out there to rebound?
I try to, but it doesn't last very long.
Now, you said you prepare a little bit. You come down to the basement, do some dribbling drills and things like that. In terms of mental preparation, you read any books at all, or any, and what are they?
I read a couple of books over the past year or so. One of my coaches gave me. It's called Toughness by Jay
Belis.
And that one's really cool because every time I read it during the basketball season last year, and every time I read it, it applied to something in my game that I was focusing on, whether it was like going up against a tough opponent or, just going through tough drills in practice, like it always just applied to my life, so I could just translate it right away. And then I recently read "It Takes What It Takes" by Trevor Moawad, I think it is. Um, and he worked with Russell Wilson a lot on just he works a lot on neutrality, so it's not just being completely positive or just ruling out the negative. It's being honest with yourself, knowing, hey, I'm not good at this, but I can work on it, and it's okay not to not be good at it. It's okay to miss a shot, but at the same time, like just sticking with the path no matter what like alley it takes you down.
You have a quote above your headboard. Can you tell us what that is?
It's not about being better than someone else. It's about being better than you were the day before.
Now, how can you relate that not just to sports, but other avenues of your life?
Just taking every day as a chance to get better. Like whether you want to be a good like reader, or artist, or a singer, or basketball, like whatever it is, always just find something you can get better at within that, and be passionate about it, and just be obsessed with it. So
Do you ever have a problem where you get too obsessive about something, or are you able to?
usually, like if I'm coming up on a tough game, especially this season, I would like obsess over it, obsess over the scouting report. Um, the maybe the environment we'll be in, whether it's at an opposing place or just a neutral site. I always like overthink about it, like, hey, like it's gonna be here. We got to go against this person. Um, just trying to prepare myself for anything that could happen. So sometimes that obsession gets a little over the top, but you just got to bring yourself back down to earth. And, yeah.
Or is there anybody that helps you keep things on an even keel?
um, my parents and my brother, they always like you guys are completely honest with me, so you'll tell me if I'm being crazy or if it's like, all right, that's a reasonable thing to be worried about. But um, really, the people around me are great at keeping me in check for all the emotions that come with basketball and everything.
Well, now we're going to into a little bit about that basketball season. It's one of those most memorable seasons I've witnessed, and probably you too. Team finished 22-5, state runner-up in Double A. Um, I'll let you start and just go off of what were your expectations going into the year as an individual, and then as a team expectations.
Well, for me, I just wanted to be confident in everything I've done or I did, because I had always struggled with, am I good enough? Am I the player everyone tells me that I can be? Like, is it, can I take over a game? Can I score 30 points? So it's just knowing that I can do all those things. It's just how to fit that into, not like my own headspace, like knowing it's okay to be that player, but it's also okay to be the one with 7 assists and 0 points. Like, you don't have to be the hero at all times, or be the one that's hiding in the shadows. For the team, I knew we were going to be good. I just wasn't sure how good we would let ourselves be, because going into the season, with our seniors who were fifth year starters, knowing that they would be gone this next year, we wanted to make it memorable and go as far as we could. We just weren't sure how far it would take us, especially with the tough Double A class that we're in. So it was just, going to practice every day, knowing that we can be the best player in the state, or the best team in the state. Um, but actually believing that is like a completely different story, and actually playing it through is amazing for us to at least put ourselves in comparison to one of the best teams in the state.
Talk about some of those teammates you had, those two seniors, and then Brookie coming off the bench and being support system.
I played this year. We had Ella Clark as one of our seniors, and Leah Thompson, who have been right by my side ever since I stepped up on the varsity in 7th grade and they were in 8th grade. And we've been through everything together. We went through the 10-game season of COVID. We even played before that together with Hilton Select, and going through the highs and the lows together, knowing how each other responds to that, and also knowing each other's limits, so that when we push each other at practice, we know, like, hey, like you gotta chill out a little bit, or like, hey, I need something else from you. You gotta do this for me or something. So just being that balance and support system for each other, and also being the leaders that um, we had been raised to be throughout the whole program, from the seniors that we had played with, and just keeping it moving on through the whole program so that this can be a dynasty that rules forever.
Talk about Brooke Bell and your other teammates too.
Brooke Bell, she was a good support player for us this year. She would always be the one to just be scrappy, just get on the floor for that rebound. Just would dive on the floor, just get that charge, like just do the some of the dirty work that not a lot of players would love to do. And it really meant a lot in some of the games that we were in, just for her to come in and get a tough rebound, get it to me, and can push up the floor to Ella. And it was just really good to have those supporting pieces around us.
And then some of your other teammates too that rounded out your starting five came off the bench. Talk about them.
The rest of our starting five was you had me, and then Ella Simonelli and Maddie Murphy. And the two of them were great all year because they knew their roles. Maddie Murphy, she could be the scrappy one on defense, and also not be afraid to set a hard screen on offense or take that mid-range shot. Like, she's really gaining confidence, and she's only a freshman. So knowing that she can get that maturity young from not only me, Ella, and Leah, and the other players that we have, but just from the experience that she'll have going forward. And then Ella Simonelli, she's great for defensive purposes. She has really long arms, so she can just block the crap out of the ball and get the rebounds. She'll, hit somebody early and go get the board, and it was great to have them around all of us.
And then some of those girls that came off the bench.
So we had Elena Graziano. She's the spark. She sparked the energy in us, that semifinal shot, which I'm sure we'll get to. Just absolutely like the Energizer Bunny. She just always positive, always just like that person you can talk to about anything and would completely support you about everything, and just a competitive player that you needed the team that we had. So, and then we had Taya Cosman, who I think she is a big part this year, but I think her job's gonna be even more important next year. She had big points in some of our tough games. I think Penfield, she had some big buckets to push our lead ahead, and she adds a little bit of flavor because she's very athletic, and she can not only get it maybe in the mid-range a little bit and bring the ball up the court, but she can take it from the wing. She can play in multiple places and just fill in the gaps that we might need, especially coming off of a year with a bigger team. We're going to be a little shorter next year, but she's going to bring a good balance to the roster.
Yeah, basketball, it's a long season, and it's the winter season, the winter months. It's not so great. You got Paige Siciliano, Ava Heise, Megan Marine. Talk about them.
They were great. They were players that didn't always get in the game a lot, but cared about every single one of us. They would do absolutely anything for us in practice. They would, chase me around if I had like a double team in practice, or they would be paying attention to every drill, every play that we went over, and the attention to detail they had helped push the rest of us to like be our absolute best and uphold the standard for not only the players that play the whole game, but for those who might not see the floor in some of the really competitive games. But they, in practices and just that energy that they brought to just being there and supporting all of us, so it was really important to our success.
Now, your uncle Dave, which you know as Coach Heise, what was the mantra on the shirt this year? What did he come up with? It's not was it the journey? Was that last year? What was this year? You remember?
The obstacle is the way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So he always loves those like mystical meaning sort of things, and I believe it was either last year or the year before. It was take the stairs. It was there's no elevator to success. Take the stairs. So this year it was the obstacle is the way, knowing that we can't get to being the best team without beating the best team, and we can't compete in these tough games without doing the gritty stuff in practice. So just knowing that in order to get to where we want to be, we got to go through some tough pathways to get there.
Was there a number on your shirts too? 22?
Oh, 22-7, yeah. So
Because I'm thinking 24/7, 24. Explain that.
oh, yeah, it correlates. So 22-7 means that those 2 hours that are left out of there, those are the 2 hours that we dedicate to basketball and we dedicate to the team and just getting better. And it just, when you're at basketball, you're locked in. Nothing else matters in the world. You're just locked in there and doing your best, paying attention, and trying to contribute the most you can.
We'll get to more to your coaches later on in the podcast. This season, so regular season, give us a recollection of highs and lows, challenges that you remember.
I remember just going back.
Well, the first game of the year is when you knocked off Canandaigua, and they had state aspirations.
Yeah. They were really tough because they just had so many just balanced players and a really balanced roster that could, hit you with a punch just like that. So hitting them, at least hit them early in the season really helped us. But then, unfortunately, we had to travel out there later in the season, and they got us back. But starting the season off with that kind of expectations was big because it set the precedent that we can hang around with these teams that went to the state finals and won a sectional title in a different class. Like, we can hang around with anybody. And then we had played, I think, Liverpool early. That was a tough loss because you're on the road, which anyone can say that's an excuse, but everyone was on the road at that point. So that one was all about taking control of our own emotions in the heat of the moment because it was a close game all around, but it was also like a really messy game.
Right.
So just the amount of turnovers from both teams was just crazy. And I think the main thing we learned from that game was you got to win the game up here or you went out on the court because, just being all frazzled and maybe chucking the ball away, you really got to take care of it in those situations. And then I'll never forget the time we played Victor at home. That was probably one of the it opened our eyes to what we could be because Victor, absolute powerhouse for just athletes in general. Insane lacrosse players that also played basketball. And just knowing that we could compete with them, we had beat them, I believe it was like 70-30 or something on our home court. It was actually a day after a snow day, which was kind of rough for everybody because we couldn't practice or anything. But and then they had to make the trek out to Hilton and get the first bunch.
Yeah, you guys were operating on all cylinders that day. They got in foul trouble, but you guys were defensively minded. You were up double digits at halftime. It's the regular season. You always want to play the regular season for the postseason. Right. Coach Heise also did kind of schedule some tough early games. You had Canandaigua and then Liverpool and then St. Mary's, which team you beat, correct?
Yep. So he purposely did that this year. Absolutely a gauntlet, as he would always say. We had, I think, the toughest schedule of anybody, especially going to the postseason teams that we played. And the main reason we were so successful with those games was because of the tough games we had earlier on. Because anyone in the postseason can get frazzled over one turnover or a foul, but we had been through so many of those situations that it was just like another day in the job. Like we knew how to handle it. We knew, like Ella, me, and Leah knew we could handle it. We've been in those situations for years. Like, just take control of the moment, stay calm, and just do what you know how to do.
Yeah, I believe your sophomore year, the year before, you were 11-11. I think you got bumped by Bishop Kearney in the second round. This year, you ended up 22-5. So you go through the regular season. You are really close to win in the division. And then you go out to Victor at their place. Talk a little bit about that trip.
That was interesting, of course, because the last time we had played, we beat them by a pretty good amount. But going out to Victor is always tough because you have just their energy in their gym, and their fans actually, they're always going crazy. The refs might, play into that a little bit, try to keep the crowd under control. But that was tough because we also were missing one of our key pieces, Leah Thompson. She was sick. She was pretty sick too. So, we were missing her under the glass to get some boards. So some of our players couldn't do what they normally do that night. Ella Clark was stuck trying to get the rebounds when she's usually out leaking for the fast break, which was tough, but she still did great with the rebounds. It was just they caught us, on a rough night, but it would end up being an overtime loss for us, and we definitely could have pulled it out, but I think missing Leah really impacted us a lot.
And Rylan Fehrenbach had a pretty good game that night,
she had
too.
a really good game. She's tough.
A lot of good games.
Oh, yeah. She's tough lefty, and she wants to go left, and yet she still always gets left. She's very good at getting left, which is just, insane. She got the mid-range. Her 3 is developing. She can finish around the glass. She sneakily gets the rebounds when she might have bigger players on her and stuff, so she'll be tough for a long time coming up.
It's Coach Zahn, her second year, and they're a tremendous defensive team too. So
that was once again with all the lacrosse players and Rylan and just all the athletes they had. They're so fast. Unusual team. If you can get past the first defender, you're usually pretty good. But with them, you're not getting past that first defender. If anything, you're getting her on your hip and she's fighting hard as she can to get back in front of you. And then also their help defense, they're all swiping in. They're face guarding me. They're just relentless on defense. So it was wild.
And again, it helps prepare you for the postseason. Yeah. So I always think as a coach, when my team loses, I always say you learn more from a loss than you do from a win. So your 4 losses were to Liverpool, Victor, Canandaigua, and then Penfield. You talk about tough places to play.
Yeah. Penfield has a dynasty with Coach Vogt. He's built that place up, and not only has he built the program up, but the fans there are crazy. Their gym is super echoey. They turn the lights off and have a little light show going on for their starting lineups, and it's one of those places that you're like, oh my gosh, we're playing here. And they've always gotten us on the road because we just, we fall into that little
trap.
Yeah, you get timid on that court. You're like, oh my gosh, it's so loud in here. You can't hear each other. You kind of fall into that trap. You're like, I got to be the one to save the day, and not rely on everybody else. So I think that's what we struggled with that game, and just we came to bad mental preparation, just not being tough enough.
So when you do lose a game, what goes through your thoughts when you're driving home? You're looking maybe at a game tape. What do you think about?
I always think about what I could have done better, because you could have 30 points and 20 assists, but if you didn't play good defense, then they could have had a girl with 40 points. It doesn't matter what you do on one side of the ball if you don't do the other side. So I always think about, my fouls. Was that a good idea to be aggressive at that point? The passes I make, should I have taken the shot? Did I put that person in a good spot to take their own shot? And just knowing if I put my team in the best place it could be to win the game, and if the other team just played better, then so be it. We'll move on from it and learn. But if there's something that I could do, I'd do better.
So you ended the regular season 16-4. What seed were you in sectionals?
2.
Are we 2?
2.
I don't know, whatever it was. We'll keep going. So the first game you played Wilson.
Yeah.
Beat them pretty good.
That was, you hate to look on to the next game, but every now and then you're going to come across a team where you should have a pretty good chance against. So we were just kept preparing for what we saw ahead of us.
and one of your teammates, good friend of yours, hit a big milestone.
She hit she passed the program school record.
Yeah, who had it before? Sydney Carpenter?
I think she tied it with maybe.
Okay.
But Paige had 8 threes in a game, and at halftime, I believe she had like 4 or 5. And you're like, Paige, like, keep shooting the ball. Like, she was shooting amazing. I don't even think she missed one in the first half.
Mm-hmm.
And, she's got one of those triggers that, like, when it's on, it's on. And like, she's really good softball player. So she's got that aim.
Mm-hmm.
And she just had confidence in that, a lot of confidence in that game, which translated to the rest of the postseason for all of us, and just supporting her because she's worked really hard to be where she is.
So, I mean, from a dad standpoint, you kind of had 6 starters. I mean, you can kind of look at Graz as a starter too, and then Hosman. So you had a good mix. Looked like you had depth and stuff. So you knock off Wilson, and then Penfield's coming to your place. Now, Penfield may have been a little bit down in terms of talent this year, but they have the pedigree. They have the, like you said, legacy and stuff. They had knocked you off once. What was the mindset going into that game, even though you were playing at home?
Yeah, it was interesting because we had lost at their place first, and then we beat them at our place pretty good, and then playing at our place again. So we were all nervous because we were like, they could do anything. They could throw anything at us. Like, they're very creative with their defensive schemes and offensive plays. Like, they'll catch you on a backdoor cut. You're like, oh my gosh, I didn't see that coming. So that was, I think once we won that game, I knew that we could win it all. Because overcoming that obstacle mentally was, I think, the biggest one, because they had really tall players, strong players, shooters. They had, really talented people, and just a talented program to play against. And, the atmosphere of that gym was absolutely insane. So overcoming that was probably at least the writing on the wall that we could do it for me.
One of your close friends, Lena Lapani, tell about her game that night. She came to play.
Oh my gosh. She's usually a post player, but she can shoot it. So I think she hit 4 threes that game. And she'll hit you with an elbow in the post and get the board. And you'll just spin around like, oh my gosh, what happened? So she was one of the really tough players that we were worried about. Like, she not only brings energy, she'll hit you on defense, she'll stick the 3 in your face, and just bring that spark that you're like, gosh, we got to play against her.
So it's interesting because you talked about AA being probably the most competitive classification this year. No offense against AAA, and talk about one player being absent this year that kind of opened it up for everybody.
Yeah, unfortunately, Mariah Watkins had a big injury in I think it was before the season, and she tore ACL. And anytime that happens to a player, regardless of if they're on your team or on a different team or your nemesis or something, it's awful. Like, you don't want anyone to go through that kind of obstacle in life. And it's really unfortunate for her, but for us, it kind of opened up a little bit of a doorway, because she's one of those players you cannot guard. She's tall, she's fast, she's a great defender. She's insane. So them missing her really hurt them, but in a way it kind of helped us a little bit, because we knew we had a chance not only to beat the other teams in the league, but we could also step it up with Webster Schrader, who was the reigning AA champs.
And then still had it. Everyone else came back from that team, but the big gun was out. So, yeah. And then, okay, so you knocked off Penfield. Then you go to play Bishop Kearney. And Bishop Kearney is the team that knocked you out last year. They still have some great guards out there. Explain that game, how that game went.
That game was, I think that was also really cool for us to be just experiencing, because we all felt the hurt of losing to BK at BK last year. And we had really believed that we had a chance to beat them last year, and then we got smacked by 30. So that one really, it hit us hard. So we knew that like they had graduated a player, one had moved to a prep school, so we were like, we can do this for sure. And then they had Allie Hall in the post, who's really strong. She's going to Duville, so she's really tough. And then on the perimeter, you have Asia Wilson, who's insane. She'll hit you with a hezzy that you didn't even know couldn't be a shot. Like, just absolutely, you're looking the other way by the time she's past you. And then Clarissa Good, who can just finish at the basket and draw fouls. So they were really tough guards to play against, and we knew that if we could stop those three or at least slow them down and just do what we do on offense, that we would be able to put ourselves in a good spot.
Yeah, I think Ella really carried us, and then Leah was in double digits, and then you had double digits, but you handled the ball and the pressure, and I mean that's another big key. You know,
They put a really good athlete on me. She was pretty tall, so she was picking me up full court. So it was a little tougher for me to bring the ball up, but Ella really boosted our confidence in that third quarter. Little spurt, I think it was 11 points.
Yeah.
So that carried us through that little rough patch.
So then the semifinal game after that game was Schrader and Victor. And did you guys stay and watch that game?
I believe we watched about like half of it, maybe.
And then obviously Victor ended up winning that game. And so now you're headed to the finals. You split with them during the regular season. You really beat them badly, and then you lost in overtime. What was the thought process in preparing for them? What was Coach Heise saying to you as you got ready for them for the finals that Saturday night?
It was just believing no matter what happens on the court. We had been through everything we could imagine. We went through, getting a double team. We went through getting in foul trouble. Having a turnover late in the game that hurt us. So it was just believing that everything we had done up until that point brought us here, and we could do anything as long as we really believed in ourselves and each other. And with a team like Victor, it's gonna be scrappy. You're not gonna blow them out by 40 again. That's one thing that barely happens once. So it was just having belief in ourselves and each other.
I think the final score was low scoring, like 39-35. It was tough getting a bucket.
It was awful because that gym was weird too. It was at FLCC, and the wall is really far away from the basket, and it's like just a dark gray concrete slab. And so I don't know if it was like depth perception thing or just all our nerves, but both teams were missing shots and struggling to put the ball in the hoop. I believe they pushed up the lead.
I think they were up by 9 points at some point in the first half.
At that point, I know personally I was a little nervous because I was like, I don't know how we're going to be able to handle this. I know that in years past, once we had gone down by a significant amount, we were able to fight, but not fight back close enough. So that's the one part of that game where I was like, boy, I don't know how we're going to do this, but it's going to be tough. And then everyone the pieces just seem to come together at halftime. I've never seen our team be so calm. Usually at halftime we're talking to each other. We're not super crazy or anything. We're just communicating. Like, hey, did you see that backdoor cut? You got to watch that. Hey, you really got to get that rebound. We're communicating. But this time it was just calm. In years past we'd be all frazzled, especially in the sectional final. But it was just the maturity that our team showed in that halftime. I was like, we can pull this out.
It's probably like those fifth-year seniors that you had in your fifth year too or whatever. You've been through a lot, and those younger kids sometimes and they came through too. Victor had a hard time scoring, but again, that's tough defense. It's not just because they're missing shots. It was. And talk a little bit about when you finally took the lead. I think it was Leah.
It was Leah's, yeah. So that was I think it was an out of bounds play, and she had somehow gotten it on her right hand and had a floater or something. And once I saw that basket going, I was like, oh my gosh, we're gonna win this game because that was one of the toughest plays I think we had all year, just because of the high stakes that were in that game. And having a leader like Leah, she's not always the most vocal one, although she found her voice this year, but she just that maturity and just leading by example. Like, it might be tough for all of us to get a bucket, but I'm gonna get it right now.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna help the team get what we need. That was like one of the coolest feelings, seeing that go in, see the
Mm-hmm.
crowd go nuts.
Mm-hmm.
That was awesome.
And I just recall you were finally like, okay, I'm gonna take the ball. I'm gonna take the game over. You made a big bucket there in the last couple minutes. You got called for a charge, so that bucket goes off the board, and then you took another three, and it rimmed out. I mean, it was more in than it was out. And then I think you took a shot in the paint, and then the refs were letting you guys play, girls play, but tell me a little bit about how your mentality changed from this year as opposed to years past, where maybe you would have shied away from trying to take over in those important situations. Not take over, but like, it's so tough right now to get the ball to the basket.
In years past, I would have, handed off to a senior, be like, "You can do it. Like, you're older than me. Like, you can do it. It's okay." Not having confidence in myself that I'm going to make the shot or put my team in a good spot. And that was kind of one of my goals for this year was, stepping up in those situations. And in that moment, I don't remember being scared at all.
Mm-hmm.
And back like a couple years ago, I would have been terrified
Mm-hmm.
to hold that ball. And once I saw the basket go in a couple times, I was like, oh yeah. And then I think I got to the free throw line, and
You made a couple big foul
the
shots
first
there.
one. I think that was maybe one.
I thought Leah's shot made it.
Oh,
Go ahead two, and then I don't know if you had 2 or 3 foul shots there at the end, or somebody did.
Foul shots in the first one, 2 and the second one, and Coach Heise always tells me, he's like, you didn't make any facial expressions until you made that either first or second free throw. I was like, yeah, because I could actually feel it.
So then, you still got to get a couple stops, and now it's heavy defense and rebounding. What was it like when you got that last rebound and you're dribbling down the court?
I had the goofiest smile on my face, but that was the most like genuine happiness, like from like a sport, because we had, since I got the rebound, there was no chance. There was like 2 seconds on the clock. I was like, no one's taking it now. Like, if I'm gonna do anything, I'm gonna chuck it up in the stands and let the time run out. And just that was the point where it just, if I had actually not had as much adrenaline that I did, I probably would have cried, because I was like, we did it. We finally did it. We'd always dreamed, like, it's brick season, like, we're gonna get a brick. And then we had done it. So it was just that just sense of accomplishment was just an amazing adrenaline rush, and so crazy.
I believe that's the 3rd sectional title in Hilton girls basketball history. Do you know the other 2 years they won it?
I think it was 2003 and 2011.
So, and then the post-game awards, you had a game high 13 points, and I think you were MVP for the sectionals.
Yep.
And did you have 2 other teammates that also made all tournament?
So that was Ella and Leah.
Ella and Leah. You're the 3 5-year starters or whatever. So the postseason awards came in, and I believe Ella Clark made first team All Greater Rochester with first team All County. And Leah?
Leah got
second team All County. Coach Heise was coach of the year, which is very cool. And then you were first team AGR for a second year in a row, and All Greater Rochester Player of the Year, which was really a feather in your cap. When did you realize that this team was special? Was there a point in the year? I mean, you prepare and have expectations, but was it that defeat of Penfield in the sectionals where you said, I can win it all? Or was it earlier in the year, like, if we put the process together?
I mean, it might have been the victor loss, because after that game, it would depend on whether we took that as a shot, like, we can't compete against that team again, or like, oh, we're getting them next time. So it just depended on which way we took it, and we took it the right way. We used it as motivation. So
then you come home. Tell me a little bit about what it was like with the bus pulling in the parking lot.
That was awesome. We had the fire trucks there. Not only families were there, but just people in the fan section. So it was so cool to see the community supporting us. Whether I had talked to them before in my life or not, they were there cheering us on and, honking their horns, the lights going crazy. So
And somebody got a shower of Gatorade too.
yeah, we showered Coach Heise in Gatorade. We had jokes. We were like, when we win, we're gonna shower him with some Gatorade. You can't do that on the court or on the bus, so might as well do it on the parking lot.
Right. It was quite the night. So then we talked a little bit about what made the difference this year. We talked about Mariah's injury. Macy Bacon from Canandaigua was in and out. A couple transfers from Kearney that kind of opened things up. And the addition of some players from your JV year and the experience between Leah and Ella and also Elena. She had been starting for 2 years. Now you're going into states and you're playing different sections. What was the preparation like for Star Point? Like, what did you know about them? Did you see tape on them?
Yeah, we had a couple films against them. One of them was against St. Mary's, who we had played. So it was nice to have a comparison to a team relatively close to at least that we had seen before, so we could somewhat compare. But in those types of games, you never know what's going to happen. You don't know if they're bigger in person, faster in person, because you can only see so much on a video. But that was just having the heart and the, the grit to whatever's going to be on the other side of the court in a different jersey. You're going to put your hardest into the game.
In Star Point, I think you had a big lead, 19 points at halftime. Second half wasn't great, but when you're up by 19, play some defense, get some rebounds, and you got out of there with a win. And then came up the state Final Four. And you had to travel to Troy, New York. And Averill Park, undefeated. They had won I don't know how many years in a row. What was the thought process, the mindset going through that week and the preparation?
So I remember it was just keep doing what we're doing because we were on this path that kept trending upwards. And you're like, if the next game, if it's even the worst game of our life, we're still going to put our heart and soul into that on that court. And I remember Coach Heise he brought little slingshots, and it was a metaphor for David and Goliath because we were definitely David going to that game, and it was just, whatever you got to do to win, you're going to do it.
And it was back and forth that whole game. It was a battle. Very strong team, well coached. It seemed like a home court for them. They had the mojo from all their past success. You're down in regulation. Talk a little bit about that game-tying shot that you made when you drove baseline.
Before you say it, it's funny that you say it was home court for them because our shoot-around that morning was at their middle school. So we were literally on their home court.
Yeah.
But that shot, I don't even know how that went in, to be completely honest, because it was just one of those things where you're like, I'm going to shoot it. Like, if I'm going to get a shot, it's going to be this shot. And I think it was like I ripped through two people, and then one of them had hit me on the leg, so I was like half turning in the air, but it was a bank shot off the glass. And just seeing that go in, I was like, oh my gosh, we're in this game. And that gave us, the rest of us, confidence.
Then you got to play defense, right? So then you go to overtime, and it's just battle. And for people who weren't there, it's too bad, or if they didn't see it on, TV. Let's just go right. I think I'm not a revisionist of history, but the shot heard around the world is now been replaced by Elena Graziano. On the court at that time, you had Maddie, you, Ella, Leah, and Graz. Go through what was said in the huddle and what transpired.
So the huddle was interesting because the gym was so loud that all you could go on was what he was writing down on the board. And I don't even think half the things that happened on the play on the court was drawn up. So you had Leah Thompson who set a screen. I don't think that was on the play on the board. But then you had me Rip going towards the basket, and everyone in that gym, whether you knew me before the game or not, knew that I wanted to take that shot and that I'd worked my butt off to take that shot. But that was just the problem, was that everyone knew I was going to take the shot. So in the huddle, I remember telling myself, if it's not open, don't shoot it. Give it to someone else. They'll have a better shot than you will. So Leah set a great screen on my girl, got the ball from Ella, and then I drove towards the basket. I think I had 2 or 3 girls on me, and I was like half on the floor when I passed it to Elena in the corner, and I remember talking to her, and she was like, "I thought I was out of bounds." It was a far shot, and even on the camera, you can't even see her in the corner.
Mhm.
So some people thought I had just passed it out of bounds, but it was the most amazing feeling ever because I'm picking myself off the floor, looking in the basket, and it goes in, and everyone goes nuts. You see the Averill Park fan section going, "Oh my gosh, what just happened?"
They were in shock.
They were in shock. Like the announcers, "Oh no!"
Mhm.
And then just the celebration afterwards. I don't think I went to bed very
Mhm.
early that night because
Mhm.
it was crazy.
I've watched the shot 100 times, and what I enjoy most is you girls celebrating. Paige Siciliano jump into the gym. You're hugging her. You're draping all over Graz. Ella walks across the camera and just gives a fist pump. And it really, Coach Heise, I remember when we went out and just had a meal afterwards, I don't know, Applebee's, and he just came over. He said, that's the most exciting game I've ever been around.
Mhm.
And I have to put my 2 cents in. I've seen a lot of basketball games, both boys and girls, and it truly was. And Graz came up with 12 big points. You did your thing. It seemed like everybody did their thing.
Yeah.
And the one X factor is like Graz pumping in 12 points. So you slayed Goliath.
You did.
You did.
Mhm.
And then you got to turn right up the next day and
Right.
come out and face Albertus Magnus, which is private school, and then explain how that game went.
So that was tough for us because obviously coming off one of the biggest games, I know the biggest game for at least my life and definitely for the rest of my team's life, in trying to play against an even tougher opponent. So we knew Averill Park was good; they were undefeated, everything.
They were number 1 in the state, correct? Okay.
And so Albertus, I believe, like they were in the top 4 at least. I think maybe second or something. And they had a really tough post player, Julia Scott, who 6'3" looks a lot different in person than it does. She was tall, so we knew they had her, and we were really trying to lock down. We tried to play a little bit zone, so we could pack the paint, trying to dig whenever she got the ball. But I think the biggest thing for them was they all had legs, and they had the rest of their players, girls that didn't even show up in the scouting report, had like 15 points.
Mhm.
So you had their players stepping up in big moments where maybe some of us were a little bit tired from the night before. I remember running up the court a couple times and just feeling it in my legs. I'm like, whew, I can feel that over time.
Right.
But when you're gonna go win a state championship, you got to go through whatever obstacles are in the way. So, that's no excuse for a loss. It's just it was a factor that played into it.
You're packing the paint, and I think they banged 3 or 4 threes in the first quarter. I think you were down 23-9 at one point. It's hard when you get punched in the mouth at that time. No excuses though, but you end up losing that ball game. And what did it feel like when you knew you were at the end of your rope this year?
That was I remember being in the fourth quarter and I saw the subs at the table, and they were running towards me, and coming out of that game was one of the toughest things because like you have to give up. You're not saying that you ever gave up before that point, but it's like when you come out of the game, it's like you've done all you can. So that's when I started to get emotional. I was like, it's really over, because we all knew it was going to be the end of their season no matter what. It was just whatever emotions came along with it. So I think the biggest thing we were sad about was not being able to celebrate around each other, because we love each other to death. So that was the biggest.
I mean, that's the thing. There's only one team in the classification that's going to win its last game. What was it like knowing that it was the end of the road for you and Leah, Ella, and Brooke?
That was tough too. That's why I just wanted to experience it with them, because they had been through all the same things together, and they had earned it. They earned to have a state championship ring. They deserved to have the plaque in the case and have that next to their name. When they're being called up, Clark State champ. That'd be awesome. I wanted to do it for them. Like that's what kind of going away present. Section
state champion.
But that was the biggest thing. Like, you don't want to let them down. You want to have the most successful senior year for them that you can, which we still did. So
Still did. I think you outperformed expectations,
right.
and a state runner-up is not too
Yeah,
shabby.
we'll take it.
So you were also underclassman athlete of the year as a freshman and a sophomore. And then Mr. Gilmore, you know him from the high school. I've coached with him, and he would always do a speech every year for our football team. And it would be that you win or lose in the off season. You know, you either progress or you regress.
Yeah.
How did you prepare differently from your sophomore year in the off season to get prepared for the junior season?
I really worked on my 3-point shot because my mid range has always been pretty tough. I like to say it's because we have a small driveway. COVID, always getting shots up the driveway. Gotta have a tough mid range, but I had to extend my range in order to get my defender to play up higher and make them actually guard me that high because, I can beat some defenders, but I can't beat them all. I can't always get to my mid range when I want to. I'm not always the best finisher at the basket, so having a 3-point shot that I can rely on, I have a higher release, so keeping that movement smooth and just having the confidence to shoot it. And that's kind of my goal this year too, is keep moving that farther back to prepare for college and just get that defender playing out.
Also, some more memorable moments. We had Paige's 8 threes. You were ranked in the state fairly high during the regular season. Did we ever find out about the end of the season where you guys ended up?
I think we were 2.
Okay, 2. 585 Ballers Player of the Year. Not bad. Coach Heise was the Coach of the Year in that program or in that setting. Also, you had 2,000-point scores. Talk a little bit about yours and then your buddy Ella's.
Yeah, so I got mine against Churchville, like a couple games into the season, and that was an awesome moment because I never wanted to know when my 1,000-point shot would be, because then I'm thinking about it too much. But once I saw my teammates running towards me with the goofiest smiles on their face, I was like, oh my gosh, I did it. So that was also one of the coolest feelings I think about this year. And then seeing Ella do it really close after mine. She did against Fairport, not even maybe 3 games later or something. And she had gotten it on a left-hand layup. And I remember going way back to like 7th grade, and she would never take a left-handed layup. So I think that was more of a, at least I noticed it. I had texted her about it later too, saying like a couple years ago you would never take a left-handed layup. And that ended up being a 1,000-point shot. That was awesome, especially on a fast break too, which is one of her specialties. So
it's pretty darn good junior season this year, 2023, 24. Talk a little bit about community support because it was incredible.
It was amazing. I remember being at I think it was regionals, and I think I had seen at least one of my teachers from like every year of my life in the stands. So knowing that they were behind our bench and cheering us on no matter what had happened on that court just proved that it's worth it. Just going through all the tough moments, the sprints in practice, the times you're like, I don't know if we can do this anymore. It was worth it because you had people cheering you on that, they drove an hour to come see us play, and to do that for them was great.
Talk a little bit about the red towels.
The red towels. That was awesome. So we had some rally towels was that for sectional finals or just regionals? It might have been regionals.
I don't know.
I don't remember. But Mrs. Clock and Mr. Clock and Mr. Ann, they printed out some towels, and every person that stands had a rally towel, just going absolutely crazy after every basket, every stop, and that was really cool for us too because it felt like we were so professional, like we had our own rally towels, and it just brought the community together even more, having them all, celebrate in the same way.
And talk a little bit about Cole Murphy and his buddy there at the States.
Oh my gosh, they were adorable. So they were running up and down the stands, and
the whole
the whole
game.
game, just going defense, defense. They had the signs for the D and the fence, and it was adorable because you have support from the grandparents, you have from your parents, you have from your peers, and from the kids that are coming up after you. So it was really cool to do that in front of them and have their support.
Any team functions or breakfasts or dinners that you had that were
I think we had a
chemistry building?
team breakfast at the Clocks. We had a team dinner at the Heises. And that was just so fun because I just remember not wanting to leave because we were just having a blast, messing around with each other, joking about just funny things that would happen at practice. And that was what brought us all together because, no matter what team you were on in practice going at each other, you would have fun at those meals. So.
And I want to bring up a special group of fans that you had. Talk a little bit about the farm support.
The farm support. They are just the best. Oh my gosh. So the farm that I work for that I talked about earlier, Blodgett Family Farm, they were huge supporters of mine for basketball. They went to all the home games, make it out to a couple away games, which was super supportive of them. They would come to my soccer games in the fall, and they cheered
for everybody.
For everybody. Like sometimes the other team there'd be a really good player that could basket. Like yes. But they're just the best. They are the true support system that I didn't know could be so impactful. Because I think it was the sectional finals. Beth Jameson and John Jameson, Ruthie's daughter and son-in-law. They weren't going to be able to make the game because they had a family trip that they always go on this trip. So it was like, they're just going to go. And I remember a couple hours before the game, they had texted me like, "Oh, we're going to have to make a pit stop at FLCC." And I almost teared up. I was like, oh my gosh, they're driving an hour to come to my game before they go on their own family trip for a week. That's an amazing compliment, just that they want to support me that much, that they do that for me. And they're just amazing.
And I personally, Ruthie helped keep me calm. Farmer Dave's just so chill. He is the best. He would just sit there eating his Twizzlers. We got him Twizzlers, and it was quite a moment to experience with them, and good people. Yeah, and every time, every starter that gets announced, Ruthie's cheering for her, every basket. It's really, really good. You were also MVP in the 2024 Rochester Keepers All-Star Game, which was a feather in your cap. So now you got 3 offers to go play Division I school, and talk a little bit about the school that you committed to and what attracted you to that school.
So I recently committed to play basketball at St. Bonaventure University, and what drew me to St. Bonaventure was the people. So I had known, I'd obviously talked with coaches. I've been on campus a couple times, and I knew what the school had from a bird's eye view. And then I had gone down there a couple times to visit, and see the basketball side of things and walk around campus a little bit. But I had gone to you were there too. We went to just a normal student visit, and I remember listening to what's his name? The admissions
Dean of Admissions. Well, I don't know if he's Dean of Admissions, but his name was Dean.
But he was the most genuine person ever. He was super interested in sports. He, you had talked to him a little bit. He introduced himself to me. And just the genuine people that you meet there. I remember listening to the students talk about their experiences, and just they seem like the most welcoming people ever. And then everyone talked about the basketball games, and they talk obviously about the men's side, and the women's program is building up again. I just want to be a part of that, so that support system and that environment. And
then also, didn't Dean have his wife was a big basketball player too?
Yeah, she's say ambidextrous.
Yeah, sure was. Do you know what academic field you want to study, or?
I thought about studying exercise science because I've always been interested in how the way your body moves affects your performance in sports, and I feel like I could take that to either be a basketball coach, a trainer, or maybe physical therapy. So there's different ways you can do it. I'm interested in all of them.
What are some certain aspects that you want to work on next year, and then your off season is not going to be much after you graduate to prepare you for the Division I level and in the Atlantic 10 conference?
I want to work on, I'm not the tallest player, I'm not the strongest player, I'm not the fastest player, but I'm still gonna, work my butt off to make sure that I can still beat you. I think that's the biggest thing going into college is just the physicality difference. I've talked with a coach before, and he's like, just working on that second defender. Like in high school, they come at a certain pace. In AAU, they come a little faster, but in college, it's legit. You're gonna have to make that decision. Split second faster. You have to be able to make the stronger finish, stronger move, and a tougher shot. So, just really working on the mental aspect of playing against physical players and just the skill part.
So when you committed, who was the student that made your announcement for social media?
Oh, Brady Gary.
Brady Gary. So it goes up on social media, and all of a sudden you start getting, I don't know what kids are, Instagram messages. What was that like when people started reaching out to you, saying their congratulations?
That was really cool. Because I had gotten congratulations throughout the year for the success that our team had had. But then the fact that, people that I may have talked to once at a basketball camp or, saw once at a random function and just followed me or whatever, they would text me, congratulations, I'm like, that's awesome. And just the support that they gave me for just, making that big decision in my life and having those people on my side, it was really impactful.
And you also did receive some personal notes from people. You don't have to tell us who it was from, but talk to a little bit about those personal notes you received from family, friends, and
yeah. So people that I had never met personally, but who had known me or a family member of mine, sent me some notes that said, it's not always what you do on the court, like scoring a basket. Sometimes just seeing you give your players a high five after a tough play, or just talking with every single player on the court, and they just mentioned how they noticed all the little things that I did, and how not many players do that nowadays, and it was important for them to see it out of a younger player.
So I know we're going to get into a little bit of your AAU coaches or all the coaches you've had throughout the year. In terms of preparing for next year, what's in store for the Hilton girls next year? And
it's really
because you were the hunter this year, you're going to be the hunted next year.
So I think it's more the mental part this next year. We're going to be smaller, so I'll probably have to play a little bit of the post player every now and then. We're going to have to be good shooters because we're small and just attack the paint. But this year it was all like, I think we can be this, I think we can be this. And this year it's all, I know we can be. And it's just, how do we do that again? So it's just trusting the process and trusting yourselves. A team might get us, a victor might get us this year, but there's times to bounce back from those. And if there's anything we can do, we can bounce back from anything at this point. So,
do you have a phrase from Coach Heise yet? Did he for the next season? Hasn't released it. Okay, he's keeping that under lock and key. How about a goal of getting bleachers out on both sides for a girls' game? That'd be exciting. They did? You go, Mr. Wheaton. Way to go. Well, good. I wish you luck next year, and of course I'll be watching. Now I want to go through a little bit about some of the people that have an impact on your life and how in coaches and whatnot. I was your first coach. You were a second. Coach. Yep. You were a second grade kid, and Mike Clark reached out to me. Hey, they need a coach. I said, all right, whatever. But I got to have your wife Kelly coaching. And then Matt Thompson also helped. What was Coach Clark like? Coach Kelly Clark.
She was awesome because she was a female role model. She still is. Just being strong and confident and being just a competitor. And she was just great at, teaching at a young age how to be that player. And you
don't have to talk about me. You want to tell him the story?
Oh, so he would always hand out $100 bills after practices and games, I think, for the hardest worker or whatever. And he, of course, he'd never give it to me because that would just be wrong. And I had always noticed how you never gave it to me, but I didn't realize that it was because I was your daughter and like you don't want to show favoritism or whatever. And I remember telling you, Dad, you never gave me $100 bill.
Oh, you didn't?
And I was sobbing.
It was in the car. You're still in your little child seat?
I was sobbing because I had always worked my butt off to get that $100 bill and never saw it coming my way. I think that's where it all started.
Daddy, I worked so hard and you never give me the $100 bill. You eventually did get it.
No.
Then so you played select a little bit. And Coach Marine, I think you played for him too, didn't you?
So.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you had him and then Coach Kevin Good.
Oh, yeah. So I remember he had seen me play a couple times at like the Churchville gym or whatever, and he had talked to you and Mom, about, you think she'd be interested in playing for a travel league, it might be a little more competitive, play with a couple of different girls, whatever. And I remember you sitting down at the table, and you're like, do you want to play some more basketball or play with your American Girl dolls? I sat there and I thought about it. I was like, personally, I want to play with the American Girl dolls, but I'll give it a shot. Why not? And that's where it all started, was the ICC Troop. Yeah. That's where I developed my left hand too.
True
Do you
did.
remember that story?
Yeah.
He, Coach Good had told me to shoot a free throw with my left hand because I had never go left, absolutely never. And I remember being there after practice. It was like 10 minutes after practice. I just wanted to go home, and he wouldn't let me leave until I made that left hand shot. I'm sobbing, whatever. He's like, it's all, like, you can do this, whatever. I had finally made it. I've never been like so happy, and that's where my left hand all started. Gotta get better at it. And so I did. Now the majority of my moves go left. So.
Mm-hmm. And then he was watching you play a game, and you drove the paint, and then I don't know how old you were, third grade, and you tried to do a shot with your left hand, and just came over to me. He goes, "Who does that?" So he also taught you great defense and everything, just being real aggressive and physical. I don't mean to reverse back, but let's go a little bit through your elementary school years and maybe talk a little bit about those days at the good old Village Elementary.
Oh, yeah, good old Village Elementary. I had some really impactful teachers. I had a lot of good female role models. I had Mrs. Warren and then Mrs. Butlin. That was funny because my mom also teaches first grade with Mrs. Butlin. So she was like, I looked up to Mrs. Butlin so much. I still do. She's the reason I started basketball, because
Tell her the story.
my mom went up to Mrs. Butlin. She's like, hey, like, can you just tell her to play basketball? I think she'd be good at it. Like, she won't do it, and I think she should just try it. And so Mrs. Butlin, the next day she comes up to me. She's like, Mallory, I played basketball. She'd never played basketball. And she's like, just try it. It's okay. So that's how my career started. And I never wanted to play basketball mainly because you and Michael would take the TV and always watching March Madness. Like, I just watch TV. But it's okay.
Because you were a dancer too, right?
Yeah.
You started out in dance and gymnastics, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it didn't last very long.
Yeah.
Once I got to basketball, there's no going back.
Well, Coach Prince, I remember you went to one of his camps when you were real young, and he just came over to me. I think you were in first grade, and he said, with her stride and her gait, she's going to be able to pick any sport, whatever. So he was keen. He's a PE teacher, so he got it. So that was Mrs. Butlin. Any other teachers that you had in that K-6 realm that I don't want, you said to me before the podcast, I don't want to forget everybody because I enjoy everybody.
There's
and
so many people I've learned from. Third grade, Mrs. Starwald. She was played soccer at UB. She was a great soccer player, and so I looked up to her because she another female role model that I had, and she had run the 5K with me for Girls on the Run. I remember just trying to keep up with her. I was like, I can do this. I can do anything. So she was big on, having a little bit of confidence at a young age, not being afraid to walk into a room full of boys and just beat them, basketball or soccer or whatever I was doing. And then Mrs. Soupe, she was awesome. She was so sweet, biggest supporter. And then Mrs. Sorcone, she is the best. We had so many ongoing jokes in that class. she just taught me just to be yourself. Like, who
Mhm.
cares who's watching? Who cares what anyone else thinks? Just have fun in everything you do. And then I had Mrs. Foreman and Miss Bauer. They were awesome because you're friends with the Foremans, and Miss Bauer is just um, great overall. And
Mhm.
learning from them, being able to learn how to talk to someone, um, just on the fly, just have fun talking to somebody. Especially at a young age, not a lot of kids would go up to an adult and start talking to them. But I was lucky enough to have you and Mom, everybody, teaching me how to like talk to adults and just seeing you guys interact. So I was able to interact with people older than me.
What was it like having both your parents in the building that you attended?
You can't get in trouble, that's for sure. They're right around the corner. You know, I didn't ever realize it, but I think there was like a little bit of expectation just because you always have to act proper. Like, parents are always in the building. They have a reputation to uphold. So, I never wanted to let you guys down and do something that would get me in trouble. Everyone would be talking about, like, oh my gosh, I can't believe she did that. I never ended up doing that.
No.
But it was so fun because, I could help you guys in your classroom and then go to school and then come back and help you guys in your classroom. So it was nice to have you guys close by.
I mean, truth be told, teachers there liked you better than they liked me anyway. So, sixth grade, I think you also broke a record in one of the track events, right? Explain that.
Fifth grade year, we had track and field day, best day of the year. And I ran the. Oh, he's got the field day trophies, oh boy.
This is about you. This is your podcast.
One fifth grade, I was running the 800 meter, just 2 laps around the track, and I had beaten the school record. I got like 2:49, and it was 2:51, I think. And I was so proud of myself. And then the next year, I'm like if I don't beat this, like that's just bad. Like, I gotta beat it. And so the whole time, I was like, oh my gosh, like how am I gonna do it? I ended up getting 2:48, and I was the happiest camper ever. Like, having that sense of accomplishment to not only beat a record but beat my own.
Mhm.
Yes. As far as I know, it still stands. And sixth grade year, we won field day. So
That was my next question. So, Miss Foreman.
Oh yeah.
Or Mrs. Foreman
class
and
was
Miss Bauer.
stacked.
Very, very proud. It was funny because I remember your mother and I couldn't make it out because we had classes.
Mhm.
And so I think she was trying to get Coach Wheelahan, Mr. Wheelahan,
Yes.
take pictures. So after it, your mother ran into Coach Wheelahan or Mr. Wheelahan, said, "Hey, did you get any pictures?" And he just said, "She's running around so fast, I couldn't get a picture of her stopping." So it was funny. But yeah, it must be interesting when you know most of the teachers because you do.
Now I go back and I'm just talking to everybody. Oh, how's it going? It's so fun.
Yeah, it's nice to see kids from Village having success as they move up. And you're not the only one. There's plenty else with band and academics and athletics. So then you move over to the middle school, Merton Williams. What was that like, the transition? And then certain teachers that were models for you?
Yeah, that was our middle school experience was interesting because we had half a seventh grade year. I got pulled up to varsity, so that was a big change in my life to deal with. But then we had gotten cut off for COVID. But the teachers were definitely super impactful. Mrs. Demolicados, my social studies teacher, she was full of energy. I had her first set in the morning. She was the peppiest lady ever, but it made your day. It made you want to go to school. And she was dedicated to do anything it took to teach the class. And then Mr. Berg, he was the best. He's my math teacher. I remember he'd always ask me about sports. I remember raising my hand for the weekly news when I had made the basketball team. I made the varsity team. Whatever. He was like, what? So he was a big supporter of mine. He still is. And I remember he told me, he's like, when you get all big and famous for basketball and you're being interviewed by ESPN or something crazy, you have to mention your 8th grade math teacher. And he told me that he told Yanni Diakomalis the same thing. And when he told me that, I was like, oh my gosh, I'm part of the cool kids. That's amazing. It's a big compliment. So Mr. Berg, shout out to you right now.
He's a former teacher of the year.
Oh yeah.
Anybody else? I mean, I know, again, you don't want to shortchange anybody, but Mrs. Shagru used to make you laugh. I know that.
She always used to play the Ice Ice Baby song, the Rhymed with Ice.
Yeah.
You just sing it in full volume.
So then you moved to the high school. Maybe talk a little bit about classes that interest you and some of those teachers that stand out.
I'd always had an interest in social studies because I love learning about the past. I love learning about the wars, and how people's interactions then affect how we do it now. So I had Mr. Warner for social studies. He was full of energy, always asking about basketball. Still comes up to me in the hallways, give me a fist bump. Mallory, what's up?
He announces your games now
yeah.
too.
Big supporter. And then Miss Rice I had this year for history, so she was really important for our success. She would always make jokes about if we had a loss or something. But and then science was always a big one because I'm not very good at science, but I think it's interesting and how to wrap your head around it. And so I had Mr. Childs last year. He's a huge runner. And so just listening to him, he loves David Goggins. Oh my gosh, David Goggins. Such an important guy. I keep forgetting. He just runs 100 miles just on a weekend just for fun. So he was just if he can do that, then I can run up to court a couple times. And then this year I had Dr. Galp, who you had on your podcast.
Mm-hmm.
He's the best too. He's one of the most organized people you'll ever meet. But he's so fun to talk to because we talk to him about sports, talk to him about science, talk to him about history, talk to him about anything. So it was just fun to have those relationships with my teachers because it was just fun to go to class.
Now going back to elementary school, I forgot. Used to collect these applesauce caps. Explain a little bit about what came about with that project.
So one day in lunch in 4th grade, I saw other people would just have random collections for fun, and one day I was like, I'm gonna collect applesauce caps. They're on top of the Mott's pouches or everything. So it's like, guys, if you ever eat any of them, just give them to me. So it started out with me collecting them in this little Tupperware bin, and now I have over 3,000 of them.
It ended up being big Tupperware bins.
Big. And so it became to the point where I had lunch ladies given to me. I had my own bin at Village that had applesauce caps on it for people to put them in there. And I ended up turning them into, I did it for a little bit of Power of One and also my 10th grade MIP project. And I made ornaments for a local nursing home during COVID because they weren't able to see their families, so it was cool to see the smile on their face from a little thing. And then I made also little Easter chickens and bunnies and stuff for them too. And also, Mom uses little counters in her class that have applesauce caps with numbers on them, so helps kids learn too.
Who was your contact at the senior citizen house? Do you remember? It was one of Mom's. Was
friends.
It Dawn?
Dawn, yeah.
Dawn Phillips or
something from Elderwood.
Okay.
I believe in Rockport. So yeah, that's cool.
Right in somebody's day, right? All right. So coming back to your coaches for sports, at least basketball wise, to start off with. So you went from Coach Good, and then you met up with Tim Jackson Sr. Mm-hmm. Explain what he was all about.
He was all about discipline, hard work, defense, all the things that other
people don't want to do.
Yeah, all the things people don't want to do. And he's the person that's that's why you got to do it. I remember hating to go to practice because I didn't know if I was going to have to play defense for 2 minutes on 20 different people going on the little side-to-side drill or run 317s in a practice. But in the long run, now that I see what other kids were doing at that age and what I was doing, it prepared me for what I'm going to have to do in college. If I could do that at 5th grade, I can surely do that at 18 or however old. So that was where it all started. He, he taught me what it's like to play defense, which was really important.
What was his phrase? If you don't play
D, you're sitting next to me. His big motto is, you don't play defense, you're not getting on the court.
Right.
And that was, I was always shy on offense. I wasn't good at dribbling the ball, didn't think I had a good shot, was afraid to make a move. So I was not the only one that played defense, but defense was my specialty. It was what I was best at. So that's what always got me on the court.
Mhm. And then you ended up working out a lot with his son, Tim Jackson Jr. Explain his effect on your game.
So he had coached with his dad, and he's more of the, like, you do offensive drills with him. So he was good. I still work out with him. He's big on the footwork piece and all the little tiny details. We'll be doing crossovers. He's like, hey, keep your head up, or keep your back straight or something. Just the little details that will make a big difference in the game. And he was also one of the people that this year told me that, I can take this team far. That Hilton's gonna be a.
He did. He called it after your loss of Victor.
He was like, I know you guys are gonna do it, and he's always been the one to tell me what I need to hear, along with his dad. And Tim Jackson Jr. He's always been the person that talks to me about my mentality and knowing, you can be a completely different person on the court. You can have an alter ego on the court. You don't have to be the nice person that you are off the court, because you got to have that little sense of, got to be a beast on the court. So he's still huge in my mentality. He still sends me videos about mentality, about Kobe. How he had he worked on his mental ability more than his.
Don't you have his book too?
Oh yeah,
Mamba Mentality.
Mamba Mentality.
Have you started it yet?
Oh, I read it.
Okay.
It was cool because it showed his mental part and like little details, like on defense, he shield one way.
Tim Jackson Jr. His daughter, obviously, shouldn't she rank in the country?
I think she was recently ranked like 86.
And explain to our viewers a little bit about some of the offers she's gotten.
She's Maya Jackson. She's ridiculous. She's so good. She got recent offers from Clemson, Mississippi State,
Harvard,
Penn State. I think Penn State, UPenn, something like that. One of the Penns. She's so fun to play with. I've played with her forever. The last couple of years I haven't been able to, but just watching her success and get recognized for it has been great. She's one of those hard workers too.
And I recall when you made the state Final Four, he had said something to your mother. Well, I'm not going to come down the first game if they make the state finals. And so I think your mother and I were coming into the gym, and lo and behold, right behind him, his two little daughters and Alyssa were there. It was so good to see them.
They're always.
And yes, we did hand them all a red towel, and I think he sat there with it. And he was able to figure out in that first quarter, he's like, if you cut those 4 threes down to just 2s, you're going to be in the game. And
there's little plays that went a little differently. We could have had a better
tremendous support system. I mean, he drove, 2.5 hours or however long it was. So then they go into the school now, and as a 7th grader, the year before, they had all their starters graduated. Team Megan, I think 3 of them, and they were all gone. So Coach Groutman said, "Oh my gosh, I got this pretty good 7th grader." So he moved you up as a 7th grader. What was it like playing for Coach Groutman?
It was so fun because he was really positive, and just if next play goes wrong, he's in the huddle, he's completely calm, he's composed. So it was really cool to see how he translates his composure. He just echoes it. So he might not realize it, but in those huddles, I've never been so calm because he was talking to me. He was like, "We're gonna do this play. It's gonna, if this happens, you're gonna do this." So he just was very deliberate, and then he'd make a joke at the end to make you smile. So he's the best. Big Bills fan.
Right, huge Bills fan. So then I think he coached you till your freshman year, and then Coach Heise took over. Explain his transition and his style.
So he was program assistant for Coach Groutman's last year. So he had obviously known us. He's known us since we were little kids. Obviously, since baby. But he knew the type of style that we had, and he knew how we'd have to tweak it a little bit. Not only to fit the players that we had, but the players we had coming up. So he's very, very organized too. He's got his practice plans. He's got the plays all written up. So his organized system really correlated to how our practices ran. We knew what we were going to get from him. We knew what we would have to do to fit his style, and I think it has worked out really well. Obviously,
good scouting reports too, right?
Oh, very thorough.
Coach Burke.
Yes, Coach Burke. He's one of the guys behind the scenes. who runs like program practices for us. He's the program assistant with Coach Heise currently, and he's one of those people come up to you and just tell you a dad joke just for fun. He'll always give you a fist bump. He's one of those, like, he'll lighten the mood with anything. Like, if you're, had an awful 3 plays, he'll make a joke about it and you move on. So it's really good to have that kind of, you got Coach Heise, who's, he's very honest and he's like, hey, we got to do this, got to do this. And then Coach Burke's like, we got it. We got it.
I think you went to Coach Burke too in the beginning of the year. You weren't really shooting the ball well. Tell us that story again. You were struggling offensively, and then you came off the bus, and he just said, keep shooting.
Yeah. He was a big part in, lifting my confidence, because early in the year against like Liverpool and St. Mary's, I didn't shoot the ball great. I had a couple games later in the year too that didn't shoot it great, and he just always told me, keep shooting. It's going to fall. You put the work in, it's going to fall eventually, so just keep believing in yourself. It's going to go.
Coach McGuinn.
She's the best, because she had experience in the Hilton program, had seen what it's like, in the tough moments. She had played against Deja Fair, and the year before I had joined the team, and so she played in college at Kika, so she had experience from many different places in her life that she was able to help, and she's a younger role model for us to talk to about anything. So,
and then in the off season, your mother, who she puts on a lot of miles with your AAU and whatnot. And she ended up talking to Ella Meebon's mother and said, what are some ways that your daughter got better? And she said she started playing with boys. So Coach Prince, talk about what he did for you and letting you go to his practices.
So I think, was he the one that reached out and said I could come to?
Yeah, he did, actually.
So he had reached out to, I think it was you or Mom, and saying, hey, like, she wants to come play against the boys. I think it'd be great for her to get that experience. So I think I had gone when Michael was a senior. So I was playing against all his friends. So it was hilarious. Obviously, it's like one of the smallest ones in the gym. I was fast, but I'm not fast as, a boy. So it was really interesting to see how, I had my high release so I could still get the shot off, but it was just knowing whether I should do that or take a shot fake and, drive a little bit and then pass it. Still haven't really figured out how to finish around a boy defender, but we're going to figure it out. Because, in college they practice against boys all the time. So in the higher speed, it's been so cool to see how just playing against them makes me better, and playing with them makes me better.
And then going into some of your AAU coaches, Coach Sean Pinkerton.
So I played for him last year and the year before, and he's very deliberate. He had taught me things about the game of basketball that I would have never thought before. Like, everyone knows on defense you got to swivel your head so you can see everybody. So he told you to sit at, have your head at like one shoulder and just use your peripheral vision. So I never thought about that. Like, yeah, just move your head, whatever. But as you get higher and higher in the level, like, you turn your head for a second and you're getting beat back door. So he taught me like the little things in the game, how, if someone's driving baseline and you think you have to help and you end up turning and trying to help when you should be running towards your girl because they're getting the ball next, like, don't do that. So he has a brilliant mind in the game of basketball, so it's cool to see how it works.
Explain how the game of AAU compares to the high school game.
AAU is faster, playing against stronger players, faster players. You could go from playing against some random local team to playing against future WNBA stars. So it's so different, because not only do you have like the game, it's being played much faster, but you have, the refs got to keep the schedule of the games going on. So, they might make more calls or less calls depending on what happens. So you're never going to be happy with what the refs give you. So it's just dealing with that kind of obstacles and just playing through contact.
Explain a little bit about the college coaches that attend and what they're looking for.
So the live periods for basketball are when college coaches can watch, and it's always crazy because you got, people are always trying to show off in front of college coach. But at least for me, what caught the attention of college coaches was the little things I did. That I like to play defense. I like to, distribute the ball. I like things about the game that not a lot of people like. And I think once the college coaches talked to my own AAU coaches too, they got more of a sense of what I was like. And it's not always the points you score or the passes you make and stuff. It's everything combined. If you hustle for a rebound, if you can get a rebound against 6'3" girl, you can do something for their program. So they're just looking for the hardest workers and the smartest players.
And then after Coach Pinkerton, you had Coach Fenn and Coach Heise. Talk about them a little bit.
So I'm playing for them this year. Coach Fenn,
tell them the program that you play for.
Oh yeah, I play for Action Elite, and it's out of Buffalo. I love it there. It's so fun. So Coach Fenn had been with my team the past couple of years, and this year he took over as the head coach along with Coach Heise. And they're the tallest coaches I've ever had. They're also the most like balanced.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll be in the huddle, and Coach Fenn is screaming at the top of his lungs. He's a 6'10" guy screaming at you. For the next breath, he's like, "It's okay." So it's just learning how to play it under different styles of coaching and stuff. And I love the way that we take defense really seriously. And earlier on in my career, focusing on the individual defense, and now I'm learning the team defense. So like how, helping strong side isn't the best, helping just the little things you do on defense, how it makes a big difference.
I don't know if this individual ever coached you, but Peyton Jackson, that's another of the Jackson family?
It's Tim Jr.'s younger sister.
Okay. She
played at Bishop Kearney, and she was fun because she would always scrimmage with us along with Tim. And she's both of them are like some of the smartest players I've ever played with, because they will all of a sudden hit you with this pass that you didn't even know you were there for.
Mm-hmm.
So she was one of those like calm, cool, collected sort of people. Another role model that I had, and it was just really interesting to see her take on the game, and her life experiences helping us with others.
Is she a coach now at the college level?
I'm not really. I think she might still do like training or something.
Okay.
I'm not really sure.
And then along the way, you've had some personal trainers. Talk about Santino.
He
where he works out of, and
he works out of Hoop Strength, and he has been really instrumental in keeping my shot smooth, because people always tell me different things about my shot. You got to get it off, take your time, make sure the top doesn't go before the bottom, like all these technical things. And he made it make sense. He wouldn't slow it down when I needed him to slow it down. He teach me different footworks for fun. It would piggyback off of what Tim Jackson would have taught me in a session, but he would just teach me some fun tricks that I never thought of, teach me how to pass it behind my back, and cool different passes you could do. And he would always ask, like, what do you want to do? So it would, accommodate to what I want.
And I believe Hoop Strength is where he works out of. Matt Jones owns that place. Talk about the one time where you came in the gym and he had this little team start clapping for you.
Oh my gosh, yeah. I think he was working out like a volleyball team or something in the weight room, and all of a sudden they start clapping for me, and then no, it was actually a little basketball camp. All these like first graders, they're like clapping for me. They're like, oh my gosh. They were so cute, so he had me say like a couple things to him, just keep working hard, like all that fun stuff. But it was so cute to see the little people.
So even during the year, trying to get better with your school practices, and then you still worked out a little bit with Rachel Leonard. Explain what your workouts were like during the year and what she was doing with you.
So yeah,
and tape and what she would look at.
So randomly throughout so Santino had gotten a job at MCC, so he wasn't always around at hoop strength as much as he was. So my mom was looking on the schedule, seeing people that I could work out with. She's like, "Oh, this person looks good." So she just clicked on Rachel's name, and I showed up, and she remembered me immediately. So she head coached at Gates Chile High School for the girls team. She coached Sierra Dillard, Miriam Besom, all these like really cute, like awesome players that I remember. I look up to Sierra Dillard. I played against Miriam. I remember playing against her as a coach. So she had remembered me a little bit. She did some research. She watched some of my games. And then all of a sudden, she just, like, everything she said made sense to me. She would talk about what I was eating, what I was training, like, in the weight room. She would talk about how I'm warming up my shot. So she understood the little parts of the game that I have always wanted to learn but never had the chance to. So she would talk to me about my diet, all that stuff. And so throughout the season, we didn't always do the weight room as much because you're in season, you can only be as sore. But we did so many different shots and different scenarios that would happen. She would walk through film with me. We watched Aero Park film for like half an hour one time before we trained, and we worked on all the shots that I got in the first quarter. I had a good amount of shots in the mid range, and that's everything we worked on in the gym in those days leading up to it. And she just understood like what pressures I would be going through because Sierra had gone through some similar things, and so she knew how to like lead her through it and help her out. So it's amazing. I still work out with her. She'll go to the weight room and get a lift in, and go on the court and work on the tedious little things that I can.
Didn't she teach you yoga?
Oh yeah, I went to yoga the other day.
And then also you've learned to become a decent line dancer. Didn't she go with you one of those?
She went with me and my mom. As you obviously know, mom is a big line dancer, so since she was younger and picking it up again, so I always go with her. So we're like, "Hey Rachel, you want to come with us?" So she came with us the one time. It was a little rough in the beginning because just being thrown into this new thing and trying to figure it out, but she did good.
She even made it. She took her mother, and they came to the state final game, which I thought was very special for you and the team. Switching over to one of the biggest fans of yours throughout the years, been Karen Iglesia. Talk a little bit about her camp that first year that you went, I think as a 7th grader, and how much that camp has meant to you.
Yeah, so I think it was my year going into 6th grade, or going to 7th grade, that summer. It was one of the free basketball camps because of COVID. It had to be outside and everything. And I was like, Tim Jackson Jr. was like, "Hey, you want to go to this camp? Like, Amaya's going to go, everyone's going to go." I'm like, "Sure, why not?" So I go there, and like the first couple of days, I got voted as the hardest worker. I got my little Kohl's gift card. And I remember, I think she had asked me if I was a senior in high school. I was like, barely in the middle school. So that was funny. But then once their camp got back to what it was, being in a gym and less restrictions because of the COVID and everything, I was able to. She invited me back again, and it's been so fun because I've grown in my game, and she has seen like all of it, and so she'll come to our games for Hilton. She the food at the camps.
She makes all the food, right?
She makes all the food. Her and her family. My favorite has always been the curry chicken. It's true Jamaican food. It's so good. And it all started, I think it was like last year, it became a big thing that I love the curry chicken because I would just be like, what day are we eating the curry chicken? And then even when we would eat it, my friends and teammates that I was sitting with, they would, we'd all have the same plate, and they would get like 3/4 of the way through, like, "Man, I'm so full, like I can't finish it." And they're like, "Can you eat it?" I'm like, "I got you." So it became a thing that like when you need me to eat the curry chicken, I'll eat the curry chicken. Which is funny because I had to play a basketball game afterwards, so running around on a curry chicken was interesting, but it's always so delicious, and they're just amazing in everything they do.
And talk a little bit more about the philosophy behind the Iglesia camp, about bringing suburban, urban kids together, guest speakers and stuff.
Yeah, so um, you don't always get the same experiences as other people in life, and it's really cool to play with girls from other schools that I would have never met otherwise. Um, Playing against girls in Section 5 that from schools that I haven't even heard of. Um, and then like just bridging the gap between you know any like divide that there might be from just any life experiences, and just having fun playing basketball, bonding over that. And then they always do workshops to help you in life. They do a leadership workshop. They did one on NCAA eligibility. Um, they did one with Jeff Anderson. Is that the ref?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yep.
he came in. He talked to us about um, just trying to make goals for yourself in life, and it was so cool to listen to his perspective as a really good ref.
Law enforcement ever come and speak to you?
Oh yes, we had them come in. We had this guy, I can't remember his name, but he had dealt with mental illness, and so he came and talked to us about it, and it was really cool to hear his story because he's like an NBA trainer, just all this famous guy. Like, what else could you ask for? And yet he went through these struggles. So it was cool to see how he overcame it, and the people, and the fact that he needed support around him to do it.
Will you be going this year for your last time?
Oh
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
And she will be making a curry chicken. And then she also has really gotten a social media platform. Explain a little bit about Primetime.
Yeah, so they've always covered basketball, and now they've branched out to like every sport you can imagine, like going to alpine skiing and the unified basketball games, and both boys and girls bowling, just everything. So they really try to make sure that every single kid gets a voice, gets to have their moment in the, the light. And I think it's been cool just seeing like my teammates' face light up when they come over to them with the microphone
Mm-hmm.
and they get to ask a question. It's really cool to see the impact that it has, even though it's a huge deal for them to be traveling everywhere, but it's like the small things that they do that
Explain a little bit how they ended up getting representatives to cover schools, like, and
yeah.
I think Lena, Mrs. Jagger's daughter.
So now they have a youth council that helps, really just helps them reach more things and accomplish more. So their youth council, I know they helped with the elite awards that I went to. They hand out plaques. They do some of the little things behind the scenes to help her out because she's always running around. As well as Gerard, and Ava Heise was on it. She still is on it. Got Lena Lapani, who played against, and then Julia Jagger, who played for Irondequoit girls basketball, and she's a friend of.
And where's she going to college?
She's going to St. Bonaventure.
Uh-huh.
So yeah, it's really cool to see how like younger kids can impact too. They'll go to the games, record. Ava will send her some film that she can upload. So.
And when you talk about affecting younger kids, explain a little bit about how you would sometimes make visits to select girls' basketball games.
Oh yeah, so Dave, Coach Heise had always said, like, hey, like there's a select game happening here, like you guys can pull up. And so I believe we went to one time, and that was a huge deal. And then a couple more times, not only me, I would run into them at Hoop Strength. There would be a tournament going on after I would be shooting, and so I'd stick around and watch them play. They're just adorable, like seeing like where I used to be.
Mm-hmm.
I remember seeing the varsity girls like pop out to a game and how much it meant to me. So it's cool to like return the favor back. And then the one time our practice, we were supposed to have it at the high school or something, and there was a tournament, so we stuck around and watched a little bit. They were just adorable running around.
future cadets. So if you get back to the AAU, and a lot of the AAU is for kids to get some experience in the off season, play some more basketball, but it also for kids to get looked at by schools. And name some of the girls you've played with that have received offers and been committed to other schools.
So we spoke about Maya Jackson. She's still not committed, but she's getting a lot of offers, a lot of attention that she deserves. Played with Anaya Rowe. She's committed to UB. I think she's at workouts right now. She's always really tough to guard. She, has a little like hesitation, and
She's got a
she's
sick
tough.
handle.
Really good handle, like really tight, and she can finish. Um, Sydney Fenn, played with her last year. She's just the sweetest person you'll ever meet. She's my coach's daughter, and she's going to Indiana now, and it's so cool to see her do that. I remember playing with her last year, and she's one of the smartest people I've ever played with. She was a post player, and she could shoot it, but when she got at the post, she'd see you cut in the back door. She'd see you sitting in the corner with a wide open lane. Like, she's just really smart. So I can't wait to see her play there. So now I play with Kyla Hayes. Right now she's so tough. You can't guard her because right now she's like one of our post players kind of, but she's gonna be like in between in college. She can finish around anybody, whether you're taller than her, shorter than her, stronger than her, anything. She can absorb contact. And she always knows to be in the right place at the right time. So yeah, it's really cool.
She has multiple offers too that she's considering.
Mm-hmm. And then I was playing with Emily McDonald. She plays for St. Mary's, who we played against for school, and then she's only a sophomore, going to be a junior, but she's so tough. She's got these long arms that can finish around the rim like crazy. She's got a tight handle. She can keep the ball away from her defender really well. So her and I will trade the point guard spot every now and then. So it's been fun to play with her to see how she is so adaptable.
Where does she have offers from right now?
She has offers from like Wake Forest and Virginia Tech and Villanova and Purdue. So I'm excited to see where she goes. And then Bree Barr I played with last year. She's also committed to UB. Must be there for workouts now too. She's tough. She's a tough player in the post. Liv Russell, she's committed to UVille, along with Allie Hall, who I played against, but played with Liv last year, and she's a shooter. She's a strong guard, so she'll be really helpful to have. Like, she can drive in, make that pass, and shoot that shot. Jordan Williams, going to Niagara, she's one of the most athletic people you ever meet. Like, can jump so high, so fast. And her defense, like, you can't guard her. You can't score on that girl. So, and that's Niagara's main principles. So she'll do really well there. And then Reese Beaver, the sweetest person ever.
She can shoot it too.
She can shoot it.
Didn't she score like 2,000 points or?
She's close. She may have like a Section 5 record. It's crazy. She's got like 2,300, something like that.
Where's she gonna go to school?
She's going to Damon. Her shot is so pure. She would always tell me that her dad would always like tape like a pickleball pad or like a ping pong paddle or something to her hand so that her left hand wouldn't get in the way of her shot. It was so pure. It went in every time.
I mean, other girls maybe that I didn't write down that you remember that you played with or you're playing with right now that yeah. One I do want to talk a little bit about Maddie Francis because you played with her, I think your first year of AAU.
Yeah, way back when I was playing for both the Jacksons. She showed up at practice one day and we were like, oh my gosh, this girl's tall. She was tall then, she's even taller now. She is insane, absolute freak athlete. She's really good at triple jump nowadays, plays volleyball, plays for Lancaster, and playing I would always have to guard her every now and then in practice. And it was tough. So she was like my first like sort of glimpse into what it would be like playing against taller and faster players because she's got length that like you can barely stop. So and then went to the Syracuse camp with her, so I roomed with her there. Her dad bought me pizza. It was way back, so
right.
But it was really cool to be a part of seeing her at least at the younger age, and now see her now with Power 5 offers. Can go anywhere she wants, like, insane. Yeah.
And what about some of your early on teammates from your high school teams?
So I played with, my first year, I played with people like Logan Hibbard, Liv Strauss, Sid Carpenter, Maddie Minetta. So many people that just had personalities that made you want to come to practice. Mm-hmm. They were so nice to me also. They would make fun of me a lot Little did I know that they were making fun of me. I thought they were just joking around. But they always made me feel at home. I was a seventh grader in this team full of girls that have recently graduated college. Like Logan Hivers now subbing at the high school. So it's crazy to see the full circle moment. I played with Riley Letta. I remember when I think I was in 6th grade, and I would come to the girls' practices, and Riley had hurt her knee her sophomore year, and so her and I would always just hang out on the sidelines, run the clock in practice. So that bond started a little younger than I was actually on the team, but it carried over. They're just awesome people.
And the last thing about basketball before we hit a little bit more of other aspects of your life was your B-Canny experience last year. And you played in 2022 and 2023. And I think this is last year when you won the championship. I think this is where you truly got recognized. Your coach, Coach Perzak, he watched you play 5 or 6 games. And he explain a little bit about that tournament and then some of these other coaches that worked for you.
So B-Canny, it stands for like something.
Explain what it's in place of for the last 10 or 15 years.
Yeah, it used to be Empire State Games, and they didn't have it for a couple of years with COVID, and then they just brought it back with now calling it B-Canny. So it's each section around New York State comes to Binghamton and plays in a tournament for a championship. So I think it's one of the coolest parts because it's like your own little all-star league. You get the best players from Section 5, Section 2, Section 11, or whatever, however many sections there are. And you truly get like the best players from New York State at that tournament. And so last year we went 6-0, played some really tough games. I think we won a couple by 1. And that was some of the most fun basketball I've ever played because you had girls that just would do what it takes. I played with Lena Lapani, Navi Buntley, Loren Green, Melly O'Toole, just really talented people, but would also do little things. Lena Lapani will get every rebound if you ask her to. Allie Hall would block a shot when you needed to. Navi would drive to the basket when you needed to. Rylan Fehrenbach, who I played against in the sectional finals too. It was cool just to see their different takes on basketball, their different styles, and how it all came together to win 6 games and get a championship.
How do you manage having a personal life after all this training in basketball?
It's rough.
Yeah.
But my friends are really they're really supportive of me. They always asking about basketball, and if I can't make it to something, like, oh, just come to the next one. Like it's.
And so you were playing soccer, and then all of a sudden you break your nose in August of, I don't know, what is that, your freshman year?
Yeah.
In Kentucky, and the healing process would take a while. So you switched to tennis. Talk about tennis a little bit, what event you did and who was your partner and your coach.
Yeah, so I played tennis my freshman year with Jaylee Esposito, she's a freshman this year. I think she was like a 7th grader when I played with her. She's a character. She was so fun to play with. And we played 4th doubles together. So like the bench was like just like below us, and then we were like on that cusp.
Right.
So like when you play against Victor, you play against really good players, even though they're 4th doubles. And then when you play against, maybe a smaller school, you're playing against just, people with similar skill level. So it was interesting to see a different sport, a much different speed than basketball or soccer. Personally, it was a little slower. It was interesting to see how hard it was because you look at tennis players, like, oh, I can hit a ball. But you don't realize when you hit the ball, it just goes straight up. So you gotta serves are so much harder than they look.
Right. How's Coach Brack?
He was the best. He was so chill. He taught me a lot. He was like, when you're doing your serve, just think of it as a free throw.
As soon as you need those sports just to
slow down,
go from the intensity of basketball. And then you played flag football in its inaugural season. Talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, so Section 5 had just started the flag football for girls the year before I played because Hilton didn't have a team. And then they made a team my freshman year, so we played it in the spring, and that was interesting to be a part of like a first year sport because girls could play too. They gave them the chance to try it out, but still play their normal sport. So we had track athletes, lacrosse players, um, and we only practiced a couple times a week for like an hour or two. So it was hard to compete against some of the schools that had that kind of season the year before, and had practice every day of the week and everything. But it was like an amazing experience to actually play in like somewhat of a like similar football game to like what you see in like the Super Bowl or whatever. Just have wristbands and
Hmm.
call the plays. They call it a non-contact sport, but you still hit people. Not as bad, of course, but you still.
Did you like offense or defense better?
Defense was so much better because offense was tough because we were so new to the sport that you don't really have much to go off of, so you're just trying to make the best of it you could. Um, but defense, I've always had a defensive mindset, and so it was easy to correlate it to flag football. Because I would always watch the quarterback's eyes, and if it went the one way, you shade a little over there. I was a linebacker, and so then I'd be ready to go the other way when the girl ran behind them. And then at the end of the year, because it was like the first couple seasons, the Buffalo Bills had their they like sponsored some of the teams, gave them flags and stuff. So they had each team invite a girl to play at halftime of one of the games. So my teammates had picked me to go. It was one of the coolest experiences ever because we got to practice like the day of the game in their training facility, and played at halftime on the Bills field. Had the fans everywhere. It just looked like the Wii Sports kind of like background to it, but it was really.
Talk about some of the players you got to high five.
I got to high five Josh Allen, Stephon Diggs, what's his name?
Dawson Knox. Tomorrow was he there?
Tomorrow, yeah. That was so cool. They're so much taller.
They're huge. Yeah. That is a good experience, and kudos to your teammates for voting you as representative. So then soccer, you decided for your junior year this year to come out for soccer. You guys had a really solid first year under new head coach Nino Pilato, who was one of your youth coaches. Explain a little bit about what soccer was like this year, and then what happened in the sectionals.
Yeah, soccer was a blast because the soccer players that I played with were just so fun to be around. And everyone had a love for the sport, no matter what part of it you loved, like whether you loved being on offense or being on defense. Like we all just had fun doing it. And the biggest challenge for us this year was scoring later on because we had Maddie Vogler, who was one of our big offensive pieces, tore ACL early in the season. So another awful injury that you hate to see. And it was really hard for us to come back from that because we had Liv Pilato on the offensive side, a couple other key players that it was really hard to like transition like at that sudden of a moment. Playing against some really tough soccer players in the second half.
Any of those players going on to play college or get offers and commit?
Yeah, so Liv Pilato was recently committed to Akron. She's a junior as well, so be playing with her next year. And then Chloe Cardone committed to play. She's doing track and soccer at Damon in the fall. So, and then Madison Vogler, she's going to be back in the fall too, and she'll be back like nothing changed.
So you're fifth seeded in the sectionals. Unfortunately, you run into a pretty good 12th seeded Mercy team. They knock you off 3-1. Any all postseason awards? I know you were a first team All County. Liv Pilato. Was Sierra Bianchi also first team?
I believe she was
your goalie. Any other second teams that you remember?
Second team, I think there was Sid Fisher. There's a couple.
I don't know, but what are your expectations for next year? You want a challenge, right?
Oh, yeah, we're going back. Yeah. We're making the best.
least make it past the first round. That's your first goal. Um, and then you also went to Spain playing soccer. Talk us a little about that trip.
Yeah, they invited a couple players from Section 5 to have a chance to like go in for like a little lottery pick to play overseas in Spain against local Spain teams. So I was fortunate enough to play with two of my other teammates from Hilton, Chloe Cardone and Sid Fisher. And we were in Barcelona. It was amazing. It was a week-long trip. We played 3 or 4 soccer games. It was funny because there would always be 2 games a night because we had 2 teams of girls, and the one team would play against like a 7th and 8th grade team, and then the next team would play against 25-year-olds. So the ups and downs over there were crazy. I played against one girl who was 26, and a girl that was like 12. And they were all on the same team. But both of them were ridiculous. So
Right.
It was so cool to see. They had like such a small village, and then all of a sudden you pop up and there's this amazing turf field in front of you. So it was really cool to see. Never been overseas before, so it's interesting.
You see, like traveling?
Oh yeah.
Did?
I hated the travel part, but being there was cool.
Quite a long bus trip to New York City.
6 hours bus, 8 hours on a plane.
And who did you room with again?
Sid Fisher.
Sid Fisher. And then you also, I think this might have helped with your flag football team. Explain how you and Mr. Foreman's daughter, what's your job during the football season?
So me and Anna Foreman, we do the water for the varsity football team at Hilton. Mr. Foreman is he's a PE teacher at the high school, but he's also one of the coaches. So, and then you coach modified. So it's like a family affair. We'll bring out the waters. Halftime sprint to the locker room is always it's awful.
No, but you're going to get food too.
Oh yeah, we get food. But it's cool to be a part of those conversations in the huddle. The way coaches talk to the boys, much different than the way they talk to girls. They smell a lot too.
What's it like, listening to how those coaches motivate the kids during a game? Because it's an intense game. I mean, when there's heavy contact and stuff. So
there's a lot of like back and forth. You could have, lose 5 yards on the next play, score on the next play. And it's amazing how, especially with the Hilton program with Rich Lapani, he uses his players for what they're good at. He'll put them in spots that maybe they might have never thought of that they just shine in. Winning that sectional title a couple years ago, that was so cool to see. And that I remember Mr. Foreman pulled me and Anna aside and was like, I want you to watch this and stay around for like the celebration stuff because I want you guys to experience it. And then luckily I experienced it with basketball and she experienced it with flag football this year. So it was a cool like all around moment. Very proud for the dads and the families and everything. I'm glad I never knew that story about that. And then you also were captain on your basketball team and National Honor Society in both junior high and high school. Yep. Just trying to fit some of these. And then talk to us a little bit about the prayer breakfasts you attend on Thursdays. Yeah, so Mr. and Mrs. Clark, who I've known Mrs. Clark forever from, Maddie, who plays on the basketball team, and Lucy, the older sister, and then Cole, who was running up down the sidelines. And she had this idea like, hey, why not just start these things on Thursday mornings? Everyone shows up at I think it's the Methodist Church in Hilton. Get to talk about God and worship songs a little bit, and then eat some food and go to school. So it was really cool. How many of you have been doing that for? How many days? 4 or 5? Or... They had a couple weeks of it, maybe like a couple months. They started like just after basketball season, so there was quite a few weeks. And they did it during the school year. And then also, what about your Friday night? Oh yeah, on Friday nights, Greece Assembly, they always have this like youth night. It's called Refuge. So I'll go there with a couple of my friends. I really get to experience like a church community and you get to play volleyball there, you get to play some games, but you also get to learn about God and how He plays a role in everything we do. So.
We're wrapping down the podcast now. I want you to talk a little bit about your influence and support from your brother Michael. He, like you said, he won the sectionals in football that year. He was awarded second team all county, most improved on his team. And in baseball, they were two in his junior and senior year, two-time Division I champs. He was second team all county in that. Unfortunately, they did get bumped the first round. It was baseball. They had great players. You run into a better pitcher. Talk about Michael and his influence on you.
He's one of my biggest motivators because I remember playing lift the ball against him in the yard and I could barely hit it.
Mm-hmm.
Like when he would pitch it to me, it always pushed me to, do better the next time. And he, even though he was away at college this year, he watched every one of my games. I think he watched a couple soccer games. He does not like soccer whatsoever. So that was really important just to know that I had his support even though he was away. And he tells me like it is, just like you.
Right.
He texts me before the games, like "Good luck, be a beast." A couple words that chosen in there.
Mm-hmm.
And he'll just joke around with me, like if I missed a free throw or two in a game that we won the game by 20, like why'd you miss those free throws?
Because he does watch them from his college.
He'd live stream them, text me before and after the games, talk to the whole family on the phone. It's awesome to see, like, as when we were younger, we would always fight against each other for who was better at this, better at that, but now it's just, supporting each other.
Your mother.
My mom, she does so many things for me that, I don't even know that she does, but she,
well, she drives you everywhere, so that's one thing.
The sacrifices that she's made for me to be successful just in sports overall, not even just basketball. The amount of times she's waited in the parking lot because I wanted extra shots up, or she drives me to Buffalo for practices, waits around for 3 hours while I'm at those practices. She'll joke around that she is gonna complain about it. She'll jokingly complain, but she's a dude. She just does stuff that some people wouldn't.
100%. I agree. What's some advice you have to young girls in pursuit of athletics?
Kind of said it earlier a little bit, but find something that you're passionate about and just be obsessed with it. Like I said before, I used to hate basketball, and then I found a passion for the things that everyone else hates. I started to like running. I started to like playing defense, getting extra shots up and stuff. So once I found that those things that I was obsessed with, I started to do it all the time. And when you're doing something and you're having fun, it makes you want to do it more. So just finding something you're passionate about it and get better at it every day.
Where do you want to be in 5 years?
Finishing up my career at Bonaventure, hopefully with, want to get a championship always, and just help build up that program. Getting bachelor's.
What's that?
Bachelor's in 4 years.
Yes.
Probably should know that before going to college, but knowing what I want to do with an exercise science, major, and yeah.
All right. I'm gonna ask you some favorites. What's your favorite food? Pizza? Favorite TV show? Friends? Favorite movie? Top Gun.
What the first one I am.
Okay. Favorite song or musical genre?
I love country, and I love Beautiful Crazy by Luke Combs.
Okay. Favorite book?
Not basketball related. My favorite book is Refugee.
Okay.
And then basketball book is one of them. That I said earlier on, like Take No Mistakes or something.
Toughness. Okay. Favorite relaxation activity?
Watch TV. Netflix, Hulu.
Netflix and Hulu? No, do you have a quote that comes to mind?
Just like in general.
Yeah.
I always used to say, or write on paper and stuff. If you think you can't, you're right. I did on my little bowl for a pottery thing that we had to do in like 5th grade. And that I never realized how impactful that was.
Can you repeat that again?
If you think you can't, you're right.
Okay. Good rule to live by.
Someone used to tell me that it was too negative. Okay.
Last thought. One person from history you'd like to eat dinner with?
Either Michael Jordan or Kobe.
Michael Jordan or Kobe?
Or Kobe, one of them.
And reason why?
Because there's something about their mentality that is so like beyond just the average person, and the successes that they had and the little tricks and tips that they must know. I just want to know everything.
Well, one of the two you got a chance of having dinner with. The other one, well, Mallory, anything I didn't ask you, anything you want to pass on before I wrap us up here?
Well, you have been really impactful in my basketball career, so
I've stayed out of the way. I let all those great coaches take care of you.
You guys let me take control of it. So I think that's important for younger players too. Is do what you want to do. Like just because if your parents say like you gotta do this, you don't have to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you guys always say like you can quit if you want, and
Mm-hmm.
I never did because there's something about it that I let me take control of my career.
It's your journey, and that's what your mother always told me. Let her take care of her journey, and she'll find her way. And you have in your high school. I hope things go well with you next year in soccer and basketball, and then as you move on to St. Bonaventure. And it's been a pleasure talking with you. You're my favorite guest and favorite player to watch. You play with intensity, a smile on your face, and you play unselfishly. You're one of a kind, and I hope you come back in the future to talk to us more when you're in college. And folks, this has been Mike Heise with Mallory Heise, bringing you Huddle Up with Heise on the Big H podcast. Join us in the future with more people from Hilton and talking about how great this community is. Thank you for tuning in.
The Big H Podcast, tune in now. Conversations that'll wow. Laugh and learn, stay a while. Let's explore that Hilton style. From the highs to the lows, every story just explodes. Mike's got questions on the go, diving deep from head to toe. Every week the guests align, sharing moments so divine. Stay with us, the pace is fine. Every episode you'll find